Now that everyone has the notes, today's date is September the 4th of, it is a Wednesday, 2019. We know that our objective is to use angle addition to solve equations. Let's start with some easy vocab. Complementary. Two angles that add up to, quiet raised hand, Jose. 90 degrees. There it is. So go ahead and draw a picture. What do two angles that are complementary look like? See if you can draw it. I'll give you guys 10 seconds. See if you can draw two angles that are complementary. 5 more seconds. Two angles that are complementary. Okay, and here is Mr. Sindell's example. Well, first I need to start with something that's 90 degrees, and then I need to have some weird angle in there. So there's my angle. Those two angles that I've just drawn here, this is angle, we'll say angle 1 and angle 2. 1 and 2 are complementary. That's how I say it. Angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary. They both add up to 90. So far, so good. No questions. All right, supplementary. Two angles that add up to, quiet raised hand, Andres. 180. It is indeed 180 degrees. See if you can draw two angles that add up to 180 degrees. What do those look like? I'll give you 5 seconds to do this one. Go. And the answer, it looks like this flat line. So it's a line where I have another line that just kind of juts out to it some weird angle or whatever you want. It could have come up and been 90 degrees. I'm going to say this is angle 1 and angle 2. I say angle 1 and angle 2 here are supplementary. They both add up to a line. They both add up to 180 degrees. All right, questions thus far? Yes, Sergio. And next time, yes, go.
Could it be one more line?
You could have 3 lines. Technically, supplementary means 2 or more angles if I'm being very technical. So I could have 3 angles that are supplementary. That is true. All right. Ejemplo número uno. I need to find the measure of x. I know that this is a it's not a supplementary, it's complementary. Quiet raised hand. Why is this a complementary angle? What tells you? You can't assume that it's complementary, but something on there tells you, Fernando.
90 degrees.
How do you know it's 90 degrees?
That little box.
Yeah, that little box thing. That little box thing says it is 90 degrees. It is going to add up to 90 degrees. So how are we going to figure out x? And by the way, Fernando got 50 XP, Jenny. How am I going to figure out what x is, Sergio?
90 minus 42.
90 minus 42 will give us x. And you are 100% correct. I'm going to do one step ahead of that, or one step behind that, rather. I'm going to say that these two angles add up to 90 because that's the definition. Two angles that add up to 90. Angle x plus angle 42 adds up to 90. So I'm going to say x plus 42 is equal to 90. And this is an equation where I drop the units, so you're going to have to bear with me. If you're like really creeped out that, Mr. Sindell is forgetting units, you can add units to this the whole time. But for the rest of the notes for this whole year, I'm only going to do units at the very end. So x plus 42 is equal to 90. And then as Sergio said, in order to solve for x, I have to subtract 42. So it's going to be 90 minus 42. So that's this step right here. Minus 42 from both sides. Minus 42. And 90 minus 42 is the answer that Sergio gave. So x is 90 minus 42. Is there a quiet raised hand that can tell me what is 90 divided by 42? Gunnar.
48.
It is indeed 48. Box it. That is how I do these types of problems. Of course, you can do them a lot faster. You can just do 90 minus whatever angle is given. That will be the shortcut, as Sergio pointed out. And don't forget your units, although Khan Academy is for the quiz and the test and the homework, so it's impossible to forget units. Question number 2, example number 2. Now I need to find the measure of x. Is there someone that can set up an equation for number 2? Julian.
X plus 59 is equal to 180.
180. There it is. Thank you, Julian. 50 XP to Julian. Someone solve the equation and tell me what the... Oh, question. Go for it, Andres.
So, for these examples, can you just skip steps and just do like right away 90 minus 42? That's it.
Yes, 100%. Yes, you can. It is going to be becoming more complex with example 3 and 4, which is why I'm outlining them this way. I'm just setting up the framework for example 3 and 4. Of course, example 1 and 2 are so easy, you can just skip right to it. All right, quiet raised hand. Someone solve this for us. Who have I not called on today?
Me.
Andres, go for it.
So minus 59 on both sides, and 180 minus 59 is 121.
And there it is. Box at 121 degrees. All right, now we get into the harder problems. So we have two homework problems, or two homework sets tonight. The first homework set is like example 1 and 2. Super easy. As long as you know subtraction, you're good. No calculators, by the way. And then example 3 and 4, they're going to be a little bit trickier because they're dealing with equations. All right, so I'll give you guys a few. Let's read this together. Example 3. So we have the following. QPS is 85 degrees. Well, hold on. What is this even saying? The measure of angle QPS. That's how I read it. The measure of angle QPS. QPS means I start at Q, I go to P, then I go to S. So it's talking about this giant angle right there. That is QPS. So the entire angle is 85 degrees. So if you want, you can say this whole thing is 85 degrees. We'll label it in our diagram. You can't really label it on Khan Academy unless you use the little annotation tool. But know that QPS, that whole angle is 85 degrees. All right, so knowing what that notation means now, I need a quiet raised hand to tell me that the measure of angle RPS is at the top or the bottom angle? RPS, the measure of angle RPS. Which one is it talking about? Is it talking about the top or the bottom? Quiet raised hand. What is it talking about? Sergio.
The bottom one.
Is talking about the bottom one because it goes R, then P, then S. So the angle in between those points is this bottom angle. So it's saying that bottom angle is 15x minus 5, 15x minus 5. Thank you, Sergio. 50xp to Sergio. And then the measure of angle QPR, so it's this top angle, is 12x plus 9. 12x plus 9. I need to find not x. That's not the question. It's not asking what is x. It's asking what is the angle of RPS. Again, RPS is the bottom angle. So I need to figure out what is this bottom angle. There are two steps. 1, solve for x. Most people, well, the most common mistake on this problem is entering x for the answer. You're not done. Then you need to do step 2, which is plugging in x right in here to that bottom x right here, and then finding what the angle of RPS is. All right, so step number 1, finding x. Find x. Here we go. How am I going to do that? Someone set up an equation. That's why we've been setting up equations thus far. Jose, talk to us.
So you're gonna plug 85 into the equation, right?
Somewhere, yep. What am I going to do? You're going to use all 3 of these things in your equation.
So you're gonna plug 85 degrees to 12x plus 9.
Ooh, not. So it's not saying that x is equal to 85. We don't know what x is equal to. But we do know that if I add this bottom angle and I add that, sorry, if I add the top angle and I add the bottom angle, then those two angles should add up to something, right? Okay, so how can I use that to set up an equation then, Jose? Keep at it.
It can be like 12x plus 9 equals.
Close. 12x plus 9. We are going to use that guy. We need to add this to the other angle.
Equals 15x, right?
So we're going to add the other angle, right? These two angles added together. So what am I going to write here?
Equals or
Add.
additions.
So plus
And then 15x minus 5.
minus 5 is equal to, there it is. Thank you, Jose. 50xp to Jose. What this is saying right here is that the, let me do it in a different color. This is the top angle. This is the bottom angle. The top angle plus the bottom angle equals the full angle. If I add the top and bottom together, it should give us the entire angle. That's the hardest part about these problems, in my opinion, is just figuring out how to set up the equation. Once you have the equation, then you're combining like terms, solving for x, etc., etc. Any questions so far? And I should probably write these on the top because otherwise I'm going to run out of room. You guys are probably going to be close to running out of room too. That was the top. This was the bottom. This was the full. All right, so I need someone to combine like terms for the expression on the left-hand side. So over here on the left-hand side, combine like terms. Can someone rewrite what that is? The same two people again. More people, please. Please. Don't make me cold call. I will call on you randomly. I will do it. All right, thank you, Gunnar. Combine like terms. No one volunteered, so I had to cold call on someone. Combine these two terms.
27x.
It is indeed 27x. Combine the next terms on the left-hand side. Is it positive or negative? It is indeed a positive 4. So 27x plus 4 is equal to 85. Gunnar, 50 XP. We have combined like terms for the expression on the left-hand side of the equality. Then I need to solve. Quiet raise hand. We know how to solve, right? Sergio? Minus 4 on both sides. And if you are a master of doing algebra in your head, you can just do that and without writing it down. We are at that level now where you can start doing that. If you want to keep writing down minus 4, you can. But I'm running out of room, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that step. When I subtract 4, I'm left with 27x is equal to 81. All right. And our final step is to do what to both sides? Jose. By. On. There it is. Jose gets the 50 XP. So when I divide both sides by 27, I get x is equal to 81 divided by 27, and I just happen to know that that is equal to 3. 81 divided by 27, if you don't believe me, 81 divided by 27 is exactly equal to 3. All right, are we done? Oh, there's a question, Sergio.
How do you know that it's 3?
I have seen this problem many, many times before.
I
I also know this fact, that 3 to the power of 3 is 27, and 3 to the power of 4 is 81. That's the actual fact that I was using in my head. But you guys don't need to know that. All right, so x is equal to 3. I'm not done. Don't box your answer. I am not done. Why am I not done? Quiet raise hand. What am I doing next? Cohen. 2. There it is. I'm plugging into the bottom because it's asking, what is the angle of RPS? RPS is, again, RPS. It's that bottom angle. I'm going to rewrite 15x minus 5. And instead of x, I'm going to say 15 what minus 5? What am I doing again? Quiet raise hand. Easy XP here. Cohen just got the 50 XP last time. Easy XP. Julian.
15 3.
3, because we found that x was equal to 3. Thank you, Julian. Easy 50 XP. All right. Can someone tell me what 15 times 3 is? Quiet raise hand. 15 times 3. 15 times 3. Fernando. It is indeed 45. So now we have 45 minus 5. And Fernando again. 45 minus 5 is 40 degrees. We'll do units at the very end there. So the angle, the measure of angle, RPS, is 40 degrees. And it actually does look about 40 degrees. So we just eyeball it at the very end, make sure that it actually makes sense. If we got an answer like 120, we'd be like, wait a second. Those two angles added up to 85. How did I get 120? Just a logic check. Does it actually work out? So that was step number 2. Step number 2 is finding the angle. So step 1, step 2. Step 2 was find the angle. I forgot to write that down. All right. Questions on example number 3. It was kind of difficult. It was 2 steps that we haven't really done before, and there was a lot of algebra going on. Give me a fist of 5 then, since no one is asking questions. How well do you think you can do this process? Not this problem, this process. I see a 4, a 5, a 5, a 4, a 4, a 3, a 3, a 4. Those are really high scores. Let's see if you can work together in groups of 1 by yourself, 2 or 3, on example 4. Do example 4 on the back. It's a little bit harder because I did big numbers, but it's only slightly harder than example number 3. Do example number 4 by yourself or with 1 or 2 other people. Good luck. And we're back. All right, so someone, quiet raise hand, set up the equation. Equation. Easy XP because you should have done this. Monse, yes.
8x plus 3 plus 13x plus 1.
There it is. 8x plus 3 plus 13x plus 1 is equal to 109. There's a little bit too much talking. I don't want to talk over you guys. Monse got that 50 XP. All right, is there someone that can combine like terms for the expression on the left? Go for it, Jessica. Equals 109. Thank you, Jessica. Jennifer's on the XP train. Next, I'm going to do what? What is the next step? Monse again.
Oh, I helped.
No, you didn't.
Oh my god.
Wait, okay, you subtract 4 from both
I
sides.
did help you.
And you get?
And you get 21x equals 105.
I can't. I'm dyslexic. 21x equals 105. Thank you, Monse. And our final step in solving the equation is to, Cohen, divide by 21, divide by 21, and I get x is equal to 5. All right, am I done? Should I box my answer?
No.
No! Okay, what's my next step? Quiet raised hand. What am I doing? Quiet raised hand. What am I doing next, Gunner?
You're plugging into 13x.
13x plus 1 because that is QPR. QPR, those both match up. So I'm going to rewrite 13x plus 1, but in the place of x, Gunner, I'm going to write 13 times 5. There it is. All right. Gunner got his 50 XP. Is there someone that can simplify this down to a nice little number, Andres?
13 times 5 is 66, right? 65.
65.
Yeah, 65, and then plus 1, 66.
Bro.
Bada boom, bada bing. 66 degrees is the answer. Now give me a fist of 5 on this entire lesson. Complementary, supplementary, adding up random different angles with equations. How well can you complete the objective to use angle addition to solve problems? I see a 2, is that correct? A 2? A 4, okay, a 5, a 4, a 4, a 4, a 10, a 4, a 5, a 5, a 5. All right, those are pretty good numbers. Let's see how well you can do. Do not do the summary. Immediately jump over to Khan Academy instead. Let's see how well you can do it. If you want to start on the harder problems so you can get help from Mr. Sindel, then start on these types of problems, not the complementary and supplementary ones. That's good.